Last week, myself and Tabman was able to get in to the OKR studios, one of our favorite musicians from right here in Milwaukee. I'm talking about Harrison Colby. He was able to come on in and talk to us about his latest recording that is coming on out from the Beat Index, one of his amazing projects that he has going on. And his new album is called Volume 2, Thank You for Your Patience. That is coming out on August 26th, so do be sure to pick yourself up a copy. Here is our interview with Harrison right here for you on One Kind Radio. Here we go. Cheers it up.
Cheers.
All right. Wow.
Canadian Club, baby.
Canadian Club. Man, I tell you, right here. They should give us at least a sponsorship, right?
Something.
I'm going to wash this bag with some hams. Because hams from the land of sky blue water. Whatever. You came in from the East Coast to here.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
10 years ago, okay. So
now going on 11.
So before we start getting into the Beat Index, let's talk a little bit about how was the transition coming on over from the East Coast to right here in Milwaukee.
One thing I really love about being in Milwaukee is that, like, I felt like I grew up here, like, musically, like, as a musician, like, through the Delphines and No-No and Sex Scenes and Rex and Chit Chat and the Beat Index. Like, I feel like my whole musician journey, like, started here. I definitely felt like throughout my entire life there was something where, like, I wasn't, this sounds nuts to say, but, like, I felt like I wasn't really heard until I moved here. And then when I moved here, it was like, everyone, you're great, dude. Everyone likes it. So I was like,
where were you on the East Coast?
Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is, you know, very
Very Richmond.
very Richmond, which is it's very competitive and cutthroat, like a lot of the East Coast. And I feel like I wasn't given room to experiment and try different things. And then, like, here, if I experiment, it's good. Like, you can do that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those things where moving here, I felt like, oh, great. Like, this is my adopted home because people are really chill here.
Question. Was Richmond more of a hardcore town?
Yes.
Because that is the only side of it I ever saw.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is that's sort of the dominant genre. And, you know, my brother is in the band Enforced, which, you know, thrash, they're signed to Century Media and, like, they're touring the world and stuff. And, like, you know, so Richmond is definitely a place where if you're in his case, like a crossover thrash band, like,
right,
this might be the launching platform for you. But yeah, for me, it was definitely like, it was not something that I didn't like being in Richmond playing music.
You can see that just from my experiences. I've been there a couple times.
Definitely when I think of you, Harrison, I think of hardcore music. So,
well, I mean, like, I'm in Sex Scenes.
And I will say that Sex Scenes demo was one of my favorite things that's come out of Milwaukee in a long time.
The demo?
The demo.
The demo.
Tape.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
I love that tape. I wore that out in my car.
Yeah.
What, the Swallow one?
Yeah, it was like 5 songs.
Yeah.
songs.
Oh my God, that's my favorite one too.
Yeah.
It sounds so
with the gravestone
good.
on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man,
it's still in my glove box, but I don't know if it works.
Damn.
You're hoping. Yeah, it's still going.
I'm like
burned
fainting
it out
right now.
Yeah, that was a big one for me. I love that.
Wow.
Man, I feel like you got one of the most diverse amount of bands that are at your fingertips now with Chit Chat, Rex, Sex Scenes, and now the Beat Index. Geez, man, this is amazing.
Yeah, I'm in a few projects. I feel like every single song is definitely like, that's a Rex song, that's a Chit Chat song, that's a Sex Scene song, that's a Beat Index song. So it's like, if you're going to be in different projects, it better be a different thing instead of like, I'm in like 8 crust punk bands. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah.
So
So, I mean, especially with this record here. I mean,
Yeah, this one's definitely an outlier.
This is totally, this is great.
Yeah.
How did you get into this? I mean, it is way different than Volume 1.
Right. But you know what's funny is that, like, I can't wait for you guys to hear the whole thing because I
really
feel like
want
it's not that different. I mean, because there's interludes and the way that the album is broken up and the way that it flows is very similar to Volume 1, but like...
Volume 1 just had more of a new wave element to it, to me.
To me, I always think of Volume 1 as it's the 60s and the 90s through like a millennial lens. Like it sounds like Fatboy Slim. And it also sounds like, you know, 60. Yeah.
I guess I didn't think about it like that.
Just now that I have like enough distance from it, especially after making the second one.
Yeah.
I'm like, it sounds like, you know, there's some John Carpenter 80s kind of stuff in there, but then there's also like a lot of Lynn vibes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Sure.
Oh, man. Well, okay. Well, you know what? You brought in a bunch of stuff that you were talking about, or a couple tracks anyway, were influences as far as on the album. I know you were talking about Nicolette Larson as well as Bread, believe it or not, which is very amazing to me. So would you like to play one of those songs as far as on it?
I would. The Nicolette Larson song, I think, is crazy because it came up on YouTube autoplay when I was during my like deep dive of soft rock. So of course, like YouTube is an algorithm.
Can I ask like what you grew up with, what your family listened to?
See,
because that's the stuff, like a lot of the stuff is matching up with the records that, Bread especially, I mean.
Well, what's crazy, so my mom was the hard rocker. My mom was the Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
Person in my family, Eric Clapton and the Yardbirds and all that stuff. So she turned me on to all that stuff when I was a kid. Right. But my dad was always Carly Simon, James Taylor. Carole King.
It is the perfect mix right there.
So, but it was kind of nice that, like, I must say that, like, the gender roles are a little swapped. So it's like my dad was the soft rock guy, and my mom was the hard rock, heavy metal person. Yeah, my dad was Mr. Steely Dan, and I remember, like, I went to see Steely Dan with my dad, and I hated every second of it. But, like, at the same time, now it's almost like this weird postmodern joke where I'm like, yeah, now I'm making like some very Steely Dan inspired specific music, and it's funny that I talk so much shit on that, and now I kind of see the value in it. But would I listen to it all the time? Once again, I'm talking shit on my own record. Anyway, so you're asking, parents. I definitely got like two different threads, and now I feel like I can definitely appreciate both of them.
Totally.
All right, so if you have one track you want to play between Nicolette or Bread right
I'm going to say Bread because here's the thing. My mom was like, oh my God. When I was growing up, my sister Vicky always used to listen to Bread, and I hated it. So I grew up thinking like Bread is bad. I've never listened to Bread.
Right.
And then I started in my deep dive during my research for making this record. I was like, well, I got to listen to Bread because they're like one of the kings of soft rock.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Baby, I'ma Want You is such a ridiculous fucking song. It's fucking ridiculous. But at the same time, it is so goddamn catchy. And it's like, it's vanilla ice cream. It is so good.
Do you have to call it that? Can you just, can you at least title it phonetically?
Like, it could have just been called Baby, I Want You.
Yeah.
But Baby, I'ma
Want You. That's how we say it in the song. Jesus
With the hyphen?
With the hyphen.
Yeah.
Come on.
Anyway.
Come on, Bread.
But no. So now I'm like, you know what? Aunt Vicky?
Yeah.
Damn. It's a great song.
Damn, girl.
Baby, I want you.
All right.
Good.
All right. It's me, DJ John Bowles. We're going to listen to a track from Bread now. Take a quick break. We'll be right back with you on One Kind Radio.
Baby, I'ma want you Baby, I'ma need you. You're the only one I care enough to hurt about. Maybe I'm a crazy, but I just can't live without your loving and affection, giving me direction, like a guiding light to help me through my darkest hour. Lately I'm a-praying that you'll always be a-staying beside me. Used to be my life was just emotions passing by, feeling all the while I never really knowing why. Lately I'm a-praying that you'll always be a-staying beside me. Used to be my life was just emotions passing by. Then you came along and made me laugh and made me cry. You taught me why. Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. Oh, it took so long to find you, baby. Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. something that I say in jest. 'Cause you're different though from all the rest. In my eyes. And I ran out before, but I won't do it anymore. Can't you see the light in my eyes? In my eyes. In my
Todd Rundgren right there with the song I Saw the Light. And then obviously just before that was a song we were just speaking of yours. The exclusive track right here on One Kind Radio with your song, I Don't Want to Get Over You.
Yeah, so thank you for playing Todd Rundgren.
Yeah.
Because, like I was telling while we were in the break,
And break, yeah.
was that so I had the idea of making a soft rock record before I actually knew anything about soft rock.
Right.
So then I had to like do my research because I just thought it was a really good idea.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's always...
And so then in theory, so then I had to listen to a lot of soft rock, and I was not a fan.
Talking like,
Wait.
Michael McDonald, like
Right, the Doobie Brothers,
Hall and Oates.
yeah, Hall and Oates,
Love all
Boss
that.
Skaggs.
But you weren't a fan.
Initially, I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
And then I was like, so basically, let me give you like a little bit of backstory. Is that
Yeah.
like, so we were all in quarantine, if you can remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Tab?
Feels like so long ago.
So then, like, I felt like it was every week that we had this terrible president, and then we were hearing like terrible things that were happening, and then
God,
like
yeah.
we have like the biggest.
A lot of that hasn't changed.
Still hearing about this fucking guy. But yeah, go
And
ahead.
then we have like the biggest civil rights movement of our country's history, and like so every week it was just like something just like really dire and just on the line, so it just like stressed you out.
Yeah, lost a lot of weight
So then-
at that time.
Same. And then
Opposite.
Good for you, man.
so I found that like one day I was riding home. I was just driving around in these empty streets where there was no cars, and I had like the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack on, and it was I think it was like Andy Gibbs' "Don't Throw It All Away on Love" or something. It was just like this soft rock ballad.
Bee Gees solo? Yeah.
No, like but it was
No,
Andy, like the brother of the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 The youngest BG. I was thinking about this hold music album idea that I'd had for a while,
For
and
a
then
while.
like I heard that song and I was like, wait a second, if it's soft rock hold music.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, not an initial fan of this type of music. So then I was like, well, I have to do my research, and so I did like big deep dive into like Carole King, who I've always been a fan of, but then like
Right.
okay, James Taylor, and then
Right.
Boss Skaggs, all these people. And then I was like, okay, maybe some of this I'm actually not enjoying, but there might be 30 seconds of some song that inspires a whole song on the new record. So I would like listen to all these. And then when I heard Todd Rundgren's I Saw the Light for the first time in like 2020 or 2021, I was like, okay, this seems like the most punk version of soft rock you can have, because
Makes sense.
and then after like doing a little bit of like research, him recording everything by himself, I was like, okay, I kind of feel like a kindred spirit because I'm like locked down, and I'm like, okay. And then you know, I became like a big Todd Rundgren fan, and he was kind of like that one record, Sometimes Always, was like my gateway into how do you make soft rock as someone who does not listen to soft rock.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
And then from there, just started listening to a lot of other stuff. But yeah, that track that you played was definitely like my gateway into the record.
Into the actual record itself. And
Right.
So what was the breakthrough that brought you from listening to Todd to making this new album?
I started to realize that like he was doing an impression of soft rock, and that he was doing like 2 chord shuffles. And then I started to notice that pattern in every other soft rock song. Was that it was just like one little chord to one little chord, and then we go back to that chord. And then so I'm like, okay, so then you just pick 2 chords, but you play it like that.
Yeah.
And then
go up an octave.
and then when it comes into the chorus, you go up an octave, or you like switch to another chord to do another 2 chord shuffle. And then I was like, oh my God, like this all makes so much sense. That was my gateway, was I saw the light, and then I noticed that formula. But Todd had already found the formula.
Yeah.
And then if you listen to that record, he does it every song. Is the
God.
2 chord shuffle.
I'm telling you,
So
man. How many tracks is on the new album?
13, but some of them are instrumentals.
Right.
For me, it's one 30-minute chunk in my mind. But yeah, it's 13 songs with my friend Kendall Ray.
Playing like an orchestra, like a Bee Gees record would.
Right.
Those are some of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
It's just like where it plays just continuously.
Yeah. And
That's
like I was
sad.
saying before, where it definitely is like a sum of its parts as opposed to parts standalone. But that's why like that song to me was a great one to premiere on y'all's podcast.
It's
was that like that
exclusive
that
on
to
One
me,
Kind Radio.
That to me sounds like the rest of the record. So
No, that's amazing, man. And no, thank you so much for bringing that to the table. And then I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it as a whole, like, because
This might be something. And now, how is this being delivered here?
it's a cassette and magazine. So I feel like with the Beat Index stuff, I've always been really cognizant of trying to like make it this cross medium sort of project. And it's the record, and then it's a magazine, which is design, and then there's a video aspect. And so I've always, like with the first volume, I loved like sort of cross medium, that approach. And so I did that with this one too.
Oh, cool.
And I feel like that's kind of the thing.
I love the fact that you have, all different kinds of ways of being able to access your music, but also.
Well, it's like the poster thing too.
Yeah.
Was that like that is also a way into the record where it's like it was about if it's a whole music record, you should be able to call.
Yeah, call it
Listen
on
to
up.
it. Yeah.
See what's going on.
I love the fact, that it's cross mediums, and you don't have to wait also for a vinyl pressing. 'Cause,
Right.
like, it just...
That'll take about 1 year.
Yeah, so, then you can sleep at night knowing that, like, move on to the next thing, at least. It's just like,
Are you talking about your nightmares with anything that you have going on, or?
just as a band, in a group that only does vinyl.
And what band is that, dude?
Yeah. What
don't
band
want
are you in?
The best hardcore band in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's just always wanting to move on to the next thing. This is
Constantly
done.
evolving.
I'm done with this. I don't want to think about these songs anymore.
Right.
But ultimately waiting for something to happen.
You guys are. That's the thing, though. Yeah, you're waiting and waiting for like a vinyl pressing to happen, or to manifest itself in physical, which is always fun.
It's fine. But you found a way to do that creatively, and I love it.
I love that so much.
Thank you, Tab.
Yeah.
And thank you, John.
Jeez, man. Yeah, this is great. Okay, you want to thank Harrison Colby for coming on by and giving us a few words about his latest and greatest recording. My gosh, so freaking cool with the Beat Index right there with Volume 2. That will be out on Friday, August 26th. Be sure to pick up your copy right on over at the links provided on our page. And also check out all the other information that we have on Harrison here for you. Not only to check out this wonderful release, but also check out the phone numbers. Give them a call. Check it on out. Listen to the music as it's supposed to be heard. As Harrison said, you can check it on out as whole music should be heard. right with those phone numbers. For more of this interview, we're going to have that on our next radio show coming out on September 1st. Be sure to tune on in. You can hear some of the outtakes, which are hilarious, I must say. Mostly because we drank a half bottle of whiskey and really got in depth into a lot of weird things. So, oh yeah, thank you for clicking on over and tuning on in to One Kind Radio. And once again, pick up volume 2 right there with the Beat Index. Thanks again, Harry.